Hey everybody, it's Andrew Brown. And in this video, I want to do this survey I just found out about. I think it's a community survey by Peter. I think Peter is an AWS hero. And it's basically to ask questions about AWS, a yearly survey to collect data on the state of AWS and related services. I'm going to bump up the font here for fun. And because I'm supposed to be working on my AWS refresh certifications, I'm doing anything and everything to avoid working on VPC content because I can't stand cloud networking. I thought I'd take a little mental break by filling out this survey and we could do it together and have a bit of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and participate. The survey aims to highlight the trends in the cloud ecosystem as it continues to evolve. It's answering every question required. No, how long does it take? Even if you fill in every question, you'll be done in 5 minutes. Etc., etc. Why are we taking it? I don't know, but I like to go ahead and answer stuff. So what I'll do is move my head a little bit out of the way so we can see these questions a little bit better. And if it'll let me move this today, there we go. There we are. Let's read through. So there's a bunch of sections, but we'll start with infrastructure as a code. Below are IAC tools and services used to manage AWS resources. AWS CloudFormation. Have you heard of it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm really good at CloudFormation. I'm like super good at it. And if I'm going to use an IAC on AWS, it's going to be CloudFormation. 100%, always. Terraform OpenTofu. Well, OpenTofu is a newer project, so I know Terraform more. OpenTofu right now, it isn't much different from Terraform. So let's just pretend that just says Terraform. And would I use it again? Absolutely. It has its own use cases. So like when I'm in other cloud providers, it makes sense. If I'm just using AWS, I tend to just use CloudFormation, but there are cases where Terraform is a bit more robust and a little bit less work to utilize. So if I was to use a second IAC tool on AWS, it would be Terraform. But if I'm going cross-cloud, then it's going to definitely be using Terraform. CDK, I have used it multiple times. I wouldn't say I would not use it again, but it's not my preferred IAC tool. So I feel like they should have had an option like I'd use it only if I had to. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like I'm not saying I would never use it, but I do know it quite well and I'm like good enough to be fluent, not an expert. So there's that. CloudFormation kit for Terraform. I've actually used this. I have used it. Would I use it again? I guess I could have said use it again because I would. Use it again and would use it again. Sure, why not? I don't know why I was being so difficult with that one. With this one, sure. Do I have many use cases to have Terraform produced from CDK? No, but I would do that. Pulumi? I don't know. I don't really like Pulumi. It's more like I don't like the company and I don't like the leadership there. People that work there, they're fine. But, you know, for me, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Pulumi. It wasn't too hard to use. Again, I like the DAs and some folks there. So it's more of a political stance as opposed to the tooling side. Just say, I've used it. I'm not going to use it right now. I might make a course on it if there's demand, but I'm really disinterested in using it. Ansible, I have used it. I mean, I would use it if I had a use case for it. So yeah, I'd use it again, sure. But again, I don't really have many use cases for it. I find that I can do a lot without it. Ops work, I have used it. I would never use it again. I see no point in the service. It's a legacy service. But it just hangs around for those folks that want some managed Puppet or Chef, which I know both of those really well, but it's just like not doing that stuff anymore. Other options for use of infrastructure not mentioned in this list. I think people might say like cross-plane. It's cloud native, but we say cross-plane. And I mean, does it count as IAC? I don't know. You have configuration scripts in YAML files, and it kind of manages state. So everyone's telling me like cross-plane is kind of like IAC. So let's put that in there. On a scale to 1 to 5, how happy are you with the current infrastructure as a code tool? I'm fairly happy with it. You know, like I find it easy to write. It does mostly everything that I want. It's not as robust as other ones, but because it's dead simple, I don't have too many problems with it. It's easier to write than ARM templates. So, you know, in that regards, it is totally fine. We'll go ahead and hit next. CI/CD. Below our CI/CD services and tools and build and production. I've used it. I'd use it again. Absolutely. Code build. Code build could be better. Like the biggest issue I would say is that you have different stages and you want to be able to move data to and from stages, and there's some really strict restrictions around that, which is always a headache. I always forget how to log in or SSH or debug a code build server, so that could be a bit easier. Code build, yeah, I'd use it again. I use this in production. I know GitHub Actions is very popular, but I just have so much domain knowledge on code pipeline that I just keep using it. I feel like it's a bit slow, but all CI/CD tools are a bit slow, and it's a bit brittle in some areas, and debugging can be quite the headache and a time sink, but what CI/CD tool isn't like that? Code deploy, I've definitely used code deploy. I'm using it in production right now. Not the most flexible tool, but it gets the job done, so that's totally fine. CodeStar, I've used it. I would not use it again. It is complete garbage. It is a service that it just like if you want to have these abstraction layers in AWS, you have to have a lot more support behind it. And the problem is these teams are just too small to really fully utilize it. I feel like it's kind of like Code Catalyst. And it's up to the community to really evangelize these things, but it's still not enough if there's not enough development. And I just feel like they're not talking to customers enough when they're developing these things, and we get these kind of weird products. Oh, look, Code Catalyst. No, I don't think I would use it. I have used it. I would not use it again, but there are, again, some community members that have put a lot of time and energy into it, so I don't want to discredit their efforts. And I would just say that I don't personally like it, and I don't feel like there's enough people behind it at AWS at this current moment. So that's one of those things that I would not ever use again. It was Proton. I've heard of it. I can't remember if I've used it. I might have used it, but I feel like, let's go look up what that is. It was Proton. What is it? Oh, this is the thing that I don't even think I was able to ever use this. Yeah, I think this was the thing that was like, it was going to help you with deployment. And then it kind of fizzled out, or was like some like CloudFormation template. It was just, I kind of know what it is, but it's just like something that feels more like vaporware than anything that's actually useful. Maybe it has an enterprise use case. I don't know, but I wouldn't use it. GitHub Actions. I've used it. I would use it again. Honestly, I always go to Code Pipeline when I can, just because it's simpler in my mind because I have the domain knowledge, but GitHub Actions is super flexible. But I like to keep everything in my AWS account. So like GitHub Actions is external from it. I would have my repos in AWS as well, code commit, if they just had better synergies between services. But, GitHub Actions is just like de facto good. I have used it. I probably wouldn't use it again. It's fine. I try to stay away from these third-party services. I like to have things, again, as much in my cloud service provider as possible. It's a fine tool. I don't like the onboarding experience. I don't like how you manage permissions and users in it. But it does do what it says on the label or on the box, so it's totally fine. I have used it. I don't like to use Jenkins. It just feels like a lot of work to configure. I feel like if you have a lot of domain knowledge here, you'd really appreciate it. And you do have a lot of control and flexibility on it. I tried using the later services, Jenkins X and stuff like that. Couldn't figure it out. But again, it's been around for a long time, and it's a very solid product. But for me, it's not something I really want to use. GitLab CI/CD, I have used it. It's been a while. Wouldn't use it again because I'm just not in that GitLab ecosystem. You really have to have your company on board for it. GitLab CI/CD made sense when GitHub did not have GitHub Actions. This was a competing or a competitive edge that GitLab had. I'm sure GitLab's fine. If you have issues with like GitHub in the sense of like how they use data to train their AI models and stuff like that, then, or you don't like Microsoft, then I could see people want to use GitLab. Or you like some very particular workflows in GitLab. GitLab's fine, but I just don't have any interest in it. Other CI/CD options not mentioned in this list. I mean, there's tons, but like I can't think of ones that I would want to point out. So we'll say that is good enough. And I was really interested in Harness, but like, I don't know, it was too expensive, so I didn't bother with it. On a scale to 1 to 5, how happy are you with the state of CI/CD tool services in general for AWS or just tools? I mean, Code Pipeline and like it's Code Pipeline, Code Deploy, and Code Build, and I feel like they all need more work. They could be amazing tools. They're very cheap to use, but amazing tools if there was some work done there. And that's kind of my opinion. SAM, I have used SAM. I used it a lot. Yeah, I'd use it again. I do find it a bit brittle in some areas, but I have a lot of domain knowledge on SAM, so for me it is fine. And it does make writing CloudFormation a bit easier, though These days, it is easier to write cloud from or like serverless services in Terraform. So I'm kind of leaning towards that these days. Serverless framework, I have used it. I wouldn't use it. Well, hold on. Which one? So there's the serverless framework. Oh yeah, this one. So yeah, I have used it. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with the serverless stack, which is another one. It's fine. I've used it. I wouldn't use it again. Like it's supposed to be agnostic, but I just found that it was easier to just use the tooling for like the IC tools for each specific provider, or just use Terraform. And I found that was a lot easier than using this thing. But in concept, it was a great idea, great execution. These days, I don't know if anyone's really interested in the serverless framework. Sorry for those who are diehard serverless framework fans. Again, not saying it's bad, but for me, I don't care. CDK for managing serverless applications, I have used it, and I actually did like it. It was not too bad. Again, CDK is not my favorite as an IC tool, but if I had to build a serverless application, I might use it again in certain use cases, or if the code was readily available, I'd copy, paste, and do it. Amplify. Oh, Amplify. I've used it a lot. And I just find the DX and the UX such a headache. It's like a love-hate thing. They keep trying to make it better. I keep revisiting it. I give it hope. But I feel like you have to have a lot of invested time for this very biased framework, and it just doesn't make the trade for me. So unfortunately, I would say I've used it. I would not use it again unless there was a reason to. Application Composer, I know what it is. It used to be Stackery. I love the idea of Application Composer. Yeah, in its current state, I don't know if it ever really lived up to what Stacker used to be, as when it came over on the AWS side, it basically had to start over, and not all the familiarities came in. I feel like this is a product that could be really good. I'm gonna say use again if it gets better. It's like kind of like I would use it again if it was better. But I really like the idea or concept of it, and I just feel like in execution it didn't make all the way there. Chalice, I have heard of it. I'm just not interested in it, so it's just haven't played around with it. It's kind of like an older thing, so it might not be bad. It's just I haven't had interest in that serverless framework. I have used Lambda. I love Lambda. It's one of the easiest ways to deploy Ruby on Rails applications. It is so smooth sailing. I would absolutely recommend it. Just if you're trying to run something at the lowest cost in a really easy to use framework like Rails, and it's just rock solid. Are there other uses for serverless applications not mentioned? I mean, there's things like SST. I don't like SST. I don't like the folks at SST. And they are based on AWS CDK, and I think they're moving to something called Ion, which is part of Pulumi. So it's another product I don't like with another product I don't like, so no one even bothered writing it in here. It does not deserve my respect or time. Ruby on Jets is pretty cool. Ruby on Jets, I'm surprised it's still in active development. I feel bad not revisiting it. Ruby on Jets is like Ruby on Rails, but it's specifically built for frameworks. It was designed around more of the original primitives of serverless, and so it was a time where we're starting to get more serverless services. So I looked at this and went, I don't know, this might be a bit dated way or not leveraging the best of serverless. But apparently the fellow that made this is still maintaining it, and I hear really good things. So I kind of feel like it deserves a bit more attention. So I'm putting that there. Happiness, I'd say a 4. And these are frameworks. These are frameworks that were all mentioned here, not specific services, and they're all fine. 4. AWS is the lead for serverless still, even though I feel like they haven't really addressed having good production large applications. You can do it, but it's just AWS just always kind of leaves serverless on the side. I don't know why. Containers. I know a lot about containers. I'm not a container expert, but I know a lot in the sense that I've used a lot of these. I've used ECS. I would use it again. Yes, especially if we're talking about Fargate. Yes, it's an absolute. I'm running in production. EKS. I'd use it again. It is a little bit of a headache to set up at the start, but it does work fine. I prefer GKE over EKS, but I could use EKS, AKS, GKE, doesn't matter to me, even Civo, but it depends. If you have all your stuff on AWS, run it on AWS. It's not too hard, but GKE is so nice. So nice. Self-managed Kubernetes. No. What do you mean by self-managed Kubernetes? Self-managed Kubernetes what? Do you just mean like you run it yourself? No, I won't do that. No, never doing that. That's too hard. So even regular ACS, I would definitely use it. For Fargate, I would use it as well. So ECS Fargate, I always think of them as the same service, but I'd use both of them. Lambda for running containers, yeah, I've done this. Beanstalk, you know what? I don't like Beanstalk, but we keep using it. So you're gonna say I'll use it again when we want to throw something up really quickly. It's just easy to throw a thing on Elastic Beanstalk. Now it doesn't say. It says for containers. I usually use it for virtual machines, but yeah, we've used it for containers before. It's easy. It's kind of like Heroku, like a clunkier version of Heroku when, remember, it was cheaper or free. So I'll use it. Lightsail. Yeah, I mean, I have used it. Is this for like people that aren't really like into cloud? They want a virtual private server, like the old style HostGator kind of experience. I mean, I would never personally use it because I know what I'm doing, and I'd rather just spin up an EC2 instance. I don't like how Lightsail abstracts away the stuff underneath it, so you can't really access it. I thought it would spin up an EC2, but it doesn't. So, you know, if it was for a customer, maybe, because it does simplify the experience. So it's not a bad product, but I don't have a use for it. App Runner, no. I will never use it. I have used it. I would never use it again. Sorry. It just does not scratch my itch. There are people out there that say it's great and it does exactly what it's supposed to do, but I just feel like there's better options. I'd rather go run it on Lambda or like a container on Lambda or something like that. I have used it. I would not use it again because OpenShift is really freaking expensive. It's not that I would not use it if I had to use Red Hat OpenShift, but Red Hat OpenShift has their own offering, which might be Rosa. That is just the deployment of it. Anyway, I'm not getting into OpenShift, so forget it. Other options for running containers, not mentioned. I don't know. That seems like the whole list. They're fine, yeah. Containers on Google is really easy. Azure's okay. NoSQL databases, DynamoDB, I've used it. I would use it again. Because I have the domain knowledge, it is a bit of a headache to use, but once you get over it, it's not that bad. MongoDB, I've used it. I would use it again. Yeah, MongoDB is fine. It's even easier to use than DynamoDB, and there's just some specific use cases I prefer it for, like if you want to have a a learning record store for called an LRS when you're making educational systems. So it's totally fine for that. Key spaces, Cassandra, nope. I have used Cassandra before, but I might have spin up key spaces before, but I'm going to say no because I just don't have. Oh, I'd like to learn it. No, I don't want to like to learn. Did I do that for any other ones? Can I go back? Hope I didn't check that for any other ones. These options could be a little bit better, Peter. Okay, great. I didn't click on any of those ones, but you know, heard of it. I have used it technically, but I wouldn't use it again because I don't have. I mean, if I need to run Cassandra, maybe, but I feel like for Cassandra, there's probably better providers out there that are specialized in it. So I would probably use a third-party provider in this case. Redis, I mean, yeah. I keep doing this. I keep using Elasticache. I don't like Elasticache. I think maybe it has a new improvement where it's not bound by the same region anymore or something, but I've always had issues running it, like compatibility issues with my applications. It's a pain. I should really use something like the hosted one by Redis. Literally, they have their own cloud version of it, but I always keep going back to this one, even though it's junk. Memcache, yeah, I've used it too before. I probably would use it again because I'm just that person. Oh yeah, MemoryDB, that's the new one. I have used it, and I should use it. But I'm not really using it that much. I keep using Elasticache, even though MemoryDB is a perfect example of something to do. I just keep forgetting it's there, and I keep going back to Elasticache, which is silly of me. I have used it. I don't have much use for it, so I'd say no. QLDB, Quantum Ledger Database. That's what it is. I've heard of it. I haven't used it. Timestreams. I've heard of it. I haven't used it. OpenSearch Elasticache. I used it. I'm not going to use it right now. I just don't like Elasticache. Not the one that's provided by AWS OpenSearch. There's two. There's two search services on AWS. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, the point is I don't use either of them. I always use a third-party service for that. Other options? No, it's fine. It's fine. I like GKE's like Cloud Spanner. Ooh, that's nice. I guess it's relational, so that doesn't really count, does it? Well, whatever. I'm just saying I like it. Now we're getting more into like serverless functionality. It says event architecture, event bunches, but I'm thinking like serverless stuff. Step functions. Yeah, I mean, I would use it, but I keep not because I always feel like there's like overhead and cost, and it's just easier to just string together lambdas. So it is fine, but I don't really ever use it. Yes, Event Bridge, that's a no-brainer. Kinesis, yeah, there's just use cases where Kinesis is easy to use when you're using like fire store, whatever, the fire hose, and just dumps data. Very useful for that. Kafka, no. I mean, I don't need to learn Kafka. I know how to use it, but I just don't have it. I guess I don't have enough domain knowledge there. There's people that specialize, and Kafka is a really good product, but would I use it with MSK? I don't know. I think like you can have a hosted version of Kafka via Databricks, so I kind of feel like that would be the place to go and not using MSK, SQS. Yep, I use it daily for applications, SNS. Yep, I use that daily for applications. Amazon MQ. I'm guessing that's like RabbitMQ, something like that. Heard of it. I'm just not interested in it. I assume it's just like probably like a RabbitMQ offering, similar to it. Yeah, it's just RabbitMQ. I know RabbitMQ really well, so I probably would like it, but it's just I've been so many years without having to use RabbitMQ because there was no hosted solution or like managed solution that I liked, that I just kind of let that skill rot. Amazon AppFlow. Amazon AppFlow. I know the name. What does it do? I even made a video on this. What does it do? I can't remember. AppFlow. Oh yeah. Yeah. I gotta learn. I made a video, I think, conceptual on it. I don't think I actually used it. So yeah. SWF. It feels like an old one. SWF. Amazon SWF. Oh, I feel like that's an old one that always shows up in exams. Something. Yeah, simple workflow service. I probably have used it in the past, but it's like one of those legacy applications, or it's like you weren't able to use it anymore and you had to learn about it, so you don't use it anymore. Who uses this anymore? It's just for legacy customers. I've used DynamoDB streams, works as advertised. So other stuff, I don't know. Yeah, it's all fine. SageMaker, yep, it's good. I like Vertex AI better. I like things about Azure ML Studio, but yeah, it's a solid product. SageMaker's fine. I build pipelines on there. Augmented AI? No, I haven't used it. Bedrock? I don't know. Right now, it's like I'm not that interested in it. There's similar offerings from other providers that are easier to use. I just had a lot of friction getting started with this, so I kind of lean over to Google when I want to have a similar thing. I have used it. I mean, I'll use it if there's a use case, but usually Azure services are more cost effective. So that's what I usually do. Elastic Interface. I thought they stopped making this. Is this still even around? I thought they retired this. Will not onboard new customers. So 2023. Yeah, so this is not a thing that anyone can use anymore. So never used it. But like, I can't say like in here, like, I know why I wouldn't use it because you can't use it. Amazon Forecast. I'm not really, again, I want to say never used it and not interested in it. So yeah, but we'll say heard of it, not interested. I guess that is what that option is. Amazon Personalize. Yeah, I just didn't find it very useful. Poly, no, I don't find it very useful. I mean, it does what it says it does, but like there's so many better tools out there that are third party. Recognition. Yeah, it was easy to use. I actually wrote a lot of the examples that are in the AWS documentation. So if you're looking at some code samples and copying and pasting it, you're copying and pasting my code. That's when I actually cared about contributing to docs. Now I don't do that anymore. Text extract, I've used it and it is not very good. Translate, I've used it and it's not very good for my use cases. Transcribe, I have used it and it is not very good for my use cases. OpenAI, OpenAI what? I guess they just mean in general. Yeah, I've used it a lot and I use it in production. There are stuff, but I'm going to stick to AWS here, so I'm going to ignore it. It's okay. I'll put it in the middle. How old are you? What region do you live in? Years of experience. So I'm just going to pause here to hide some of my personal information. There we go, and we'll go ahead and submit. Hooray! So I don't know why anyone would want to watch this video, but that's what I did, and we are done. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao!